We will be starting off with the new course, that is Android development course. So Android is one of the most important operating system that currently exists in the market. Like it has a majority of share in the current world, okay, with more than about 60-70% users using currently Android, right? So we are going to understand the full Android development. This will be an introductory video where we will be just understanding the concepts, what is Android, how Android works, what are the main important key aspects of being an Android developer and all these things. Then from the later next part of the video, we will be starting with the installation and so on, creating an app set like that. Okay. So this will be about an 18 videos course where we will be clearly starting and understanding what is Android development, why it is important, and from beginners to intermediate level, we will be understanding what is Android development. Okay, so this will be the overview of today's lecture, what exactly we are going to be covering in this video. So as you know, we are working in Android development. So there is one of the most important thing, that what exactly is Android, right? How to deal with Android, or how exactly Android works. So this is the first question, that what is Android? Then we are going to understand what is the birth of Android, okay, and the evolution of Android versions, like what were the different versions, like Android 1, Android 2, 3, 4, then Jelly Bean, KitKat, and all these things. Okay, and then we will be understanding how exactly Android works. What is the background story, or what is the background processes that Android uses to run so efficiently and smoothly. Then we will be understanding how to become an Android developer, then benefits of being an Android developer, then amazing Android facts, which will be little interesting, trust me. And the main important thing, that is what is an IDE. Because obviously, if you are working with Android development, you definitely need an IDE in which you can code, in which you can test your code and create different applications. Okay. So let's get started with the first thing, that is what exactly is Android. Now, here is the main thing, as you can see. Like talking about Android, first important thing which comes in your mind is what exactly is the definition of Android. The Android kya hai, right? So Android is an open source operating system which is based on Linux. Okay, so it is basically open source. Okay, open source means its code is openly available. You can check out the code, you can edit, and you can create your own versions of this. So that is known as open source. Okay. Now, what exactly is the next thing is, it is based on Linux. Okay. We will be coming in on what exactly is Linux, and it is developed by Google. Eventually, it was developed by 4 people. In the main people name was Andy Rubin. Okay. Andy Rubin. Let me show you who is Andy Rubin. So yeah, this is Andy Rubin. He was the person, and he and his 3 other friends started a company called Android Inc. And they initially basically started the Android. Okay. Then later on, what happened, as you always know, that when you are starting out with a company, you need a large amount of funds. But due to the lack of fund, they were selling Android, and even Samsung got the chance to purchase Android, but they didn't. So Google come in and purchased the Android in the year, I don't know exactly, 2005 maybe. Yeah. So they purchased it, and then Google, created a lot of changes, and now you see where Android is. Okay. Now, this is all about the definition. Like it is an open source operating system that is based on Linux and is developed by Google. Okay. You can even say that it is tailor-made for a range of touch devices like smartphone, tablets, and even nowadays you will be seeing Android TVs are also there, then Android watches, Android phones and tablets are already existing, right? So basically, this is an ecosystem. What exactly is an ecosystem? It's not just about the operating system itself. Android frame, okay, Android frames a comprehensive ecosystem comprising of games, services, and even more. Okay, like for example, you can watch the same thing. Like suppose I was watching a YouTube video. Now I can, if I want to watch it on a bigger screen, I can easily open the same thing on a YouTube tablet. And if I really want another big level screen, then I can even go and watch it in a TV as well. Okay. So that is all about ecosystem. Like you can run same things on multiple devices. Now, talking about the most important thing, why Android was famous was customization. Like one of the standout features of Android is the ability to customize. From personalizing the home screen to laying out, fine tuning system level preferences and many more things. Like suppose you want that in your lock screen today, you want to see the clock, you can see the clock. You want to see a photo, you can see the photo. So all these customization is the only thing why Android became so popular. Okay. Now, talking about what is the meaning of operating system, because you have understood what is Android. Android is an open source operating system. Now, what exactly is an operating system? Okay, so talking about OS or operating system, so operating system is a software system that manages, controls the hardware and software resources of a device, and you can even interact with easily. Okay, it acts as an intermediary between a user and an application. Suppose I want to open some application in my mobile, I can just open a swipe and click on the icon and something like that, and my app will be running. So that is what an operating system helps us to do. Okay. Now there are many functionalities of an operating system, like resource management. Okay, so let me make some space over here. So yeah, you can see operating system has one of the key thing, that is resource management. Okay, management. Now, what exactly is resource management? Resource management is the ability to manage resources like the CPU, memory, and even the storage. Like how can it be utilized in an efficient manner? Okay, so that is what is exactly the meaning of resource management. Then it has the process management, or we can call it as PM. Okay, the process manager meant it is basically the execution of processes that handles the creation, scheduling, and synchronization of multiple processes. Like suppose in your application currently, if your phone is just lying on the table, it is still handling a lot of processes, like internet is going on, background apps is going on, clock and everything. So that is how the processes are managed. All these things are handled by operating system. Similarly, we have memory management, then device management, and all these functionalities. So let's just keep that aside because that's a complete different topic on its own. But yeah, you just have got the rough idea. Now, talking about the another important thing, that is Linux. What exactly is Linux? So Linux is another open source operating system that serves as the foundation for a wide variety of operating systems, and it has its own known as Linux distributions. Okay. Now, the Linux has one thing that is called as kernel. Okay, kernel. So a kernel provides essential core functionalities of an operating system, including hardware interaction, process management, memory management, device drivers, and all these things. Okay. So that's just a basic idea regarding the Linux. Now, what are the key features? That is, Linux is an open source. Then we have a variety of distributions, and also Linux also offers us customizability. Okay, so that is what the basic things about Linux. Okay, so this is how Android, or what is exactly Android. Now let's understand the birth and the evolution of Android versions. Okay, now as I told you that Android was started by Andy Rubens. Okay, it was his vision that why whether we should customize our apps into several different forms. Okay. Like at the time, I'm talking about 2003, when people were not even knowing what are smart devices. At that time, he had this vision that he wanted to create something different. He wanted to create a device which can be used by users at every single possibility. Like you can perform multiple tasks at the small devices itself. So that was his vision. So in 2003, like this is the birth year basically of Android, Andy Rubin envisioned a kind of operating system that was open, customizable, and versatile. Okay. Then Google acquired this on 2005. Okay. Why? Because they were lacking some funds and they wanted to sell the company so that they can run the businesses itself. So Google saw the potential and acquired Android Inc. Like Android, it's called as Android dot inc, like that, Android Inc., like that it's called. So Google acquired it and marked the start of Android star transformation into global phenomenon. At the time when 2005, when Android was sold, nobody was knowing what exactly is Android, how it works, and all these things. But now, as you can see, majority of devices uses Android, and obviously that UI you uses like Samsung's One UI or Xiaomi's UI. All these are based on Android. So yeah. Now talking about, there is one thing that is Cupcake and beyond. So the journey officially began with Android 1, but it was then the Cupcake update that introduced essential features, okay, like on-screen keyboard, like your keyboard which you see on your mobile when you are typing, okay, and even the video recording. This was initially launched in the Cupcake version, okay. Now, as you can see that these are the little features of Android, that it is an open source, location tracking using GPS, then augmented reality, media supports like AVI, NKV, okay, and connectivity like GCM, SIM card, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and CDMA, all these things. Now, talking about the all versions, so evolution of Android. So this is what evolution of Android looks like. Okay. So Android initially was started as Android 1 in the year 2008. Just imagine, before even selling the company, like in 2005, they didn't even had a version of themselves. They just had a basic prototype which was having a little brief that what exactly Android will look like or things like that. Okay. So this was Android. It was initially launched in September 2008, and it was having some founding principles. It was the beginning of an open source platform designed for mobile devices. Okay, it was not having as such of an essential features. It just introduced us with features like notification. Okay, so you can keep in mind with like notification like that. So it was having some notification and web browsing, Google Maps, and all these basic things. Then it came Android 1.5. Okay, this was when they launched initially something bigger, which was having a sweet theme version named again, like cupcake, donut, eclair, frio, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream, jelly bean. Like, but people usually says that Google was having a sweet tooth. That's the reason why they named all their initial Android versions by the name of their sweet. Okay. Now this was Cupcake, which had some features like on-screen keyboard, making text input more user-friendly, and video recording like that. Then we came on to 1.6, that was Donut, and Donut was having some of the basic functionalities, that was universal search, okay, quick box, and it was even having a camera essential like flash. Okay, so you can add like flash. It was having flash, then keyboard like that. You can it's not necessary that you have to remember each and everything, but if you are learning an Android development, it is very essential so that you should be knowing what exactly are the things which were present. Okay, now coming on to the Eclair, which was launched in 2009. Okay, and it had, see, you can see over here, October 2009, it had some of the features. What exactly this Eclair was having? It was having live wallpaper and refreshable UI. Okay, so you can even remember it by the word called live wallpapers or something like that. Okay, so you can add like live wallpaper. So this was having live wallpaper over there. And then we have the 2.2 Frio. It basically had Wi-Fi hotspot or something like that. So Wi-Fi, you can add Wi-Fi hotspot. These were the essential features that were coming at the initial updates. Now you can see, now when we use this phone, we will be watching like, yeah, does it have an Wi-Fi, does it have an hotspot? But at that time it was a very big deal, because every new version they were launching a very essential features. Like you can never imagine today's life without having a Wi-Fi in your mobile, right? Now, there was Android 3.0 to 3.2 that was named of Honeycomb, and it was launched in 2011. And Honeycomb was having, some of the features like multitasking, like you can add multitasking was there, multitasking was present over there, and it was even having some of the key features as well. Okay, so I hope everybody is watching the video till here. Okay. And am I audible to everybody? Yeah. So, talking about this, coming back to the topic, Android 4.0, which was ice cream. Right. So there were a couple of things which was launched like virtual buttons, face unlock, which is one of the most important features. Like face unlock was even present in that part as well. So similarly, slowly, we were getting new concept. We were getting new features in our Android versions, and this is how the initial journey started. Okay. Now let's directly come on to the main features which was launched, right? So talking about Android 5, Lollipop was the one of the most used till now. Many people till now uses the phone which has Android 5 in it. Okay. So it was having multi-window support. Okay, you were supposed to have multiple windows in a single screen like that. So it was having multi-window in your mobile. Okay, like that. So it was having multi-window. Then 6 was not that big of a deal. It was just a basic upgradation. And talking about the Nougat, we got VR in Nougat. Okay, so virtual reality was made possible in Nougat. Then we came on to Oreo. Oreo was having picture-in-picture mode. Okay, then notification dots. Picture-in-picture, like when you're having a big screen and you got a small screen above that, so that is called picture-in-picture mode. Okay. Then we came out to gesture navigation, adaptive brightness, and battery. Okay, so adaptive battery, this feature was came in Android 9. So you have, battery. This was a very big deal for battery. Why? Because it used to save a lot of battery based on the lighting conditions. Now user was supposed to getting 30%, 40% more battery compared to the previous versions. So yeah, this was also very important, and it came in Android version 9. Okay. Then coming on to Android 10. So it just had redefined gesture navigation, system-wide dark mode, okay, and some basic updates. Then we have over here some conversation notification, enhanced privacy, and similarly so on. Like till now, till Android 10, Android was having all the key essential features, and now it just gets refreshed, or you can see driver gets update, or you will be getting enhanced security or something like that. There is no sudden new features that are getting launched every single time. Okay, so yeah, last one is Android 13, which is currently going on, and Android 14 is about to be launched. So this is a picture. If you want, you can have a look. Like after Oreo and Pi, now they started naming it on the similar name like Android 10 and something like Android 10, Android 11, Android 12, and Android 13. So now they does not give them sweet name like Lollipop, Kit Kat, and so. So this is what Android versions are all about. Okay, then let's understand how exactly Android works. What is the key features regarding how Android, lets you do all these things, and how Android is, getting all these key features, which is very essential for us, and how it manages to do that in the background. So, as you learned kernel when we were working with Linux, okay. So, at the very heart of Android, it's a Linux kernel. Okay, as you know that it is based on Linux, right? So yeah, so this is based on Linux. So this powerful foundation provides a very secure and stable environment for the entire operating system to build upon. So this basically kernel is a Linux kernel upon which Android basically works. Okay. Then we have a layered architecture. So Android follows a layered architecture with each layer serving a distinct purpose. So we have an application layer, then we have a framework layer, then we have the kernel layer, and similarly we have all different layers which lets user get the seamless experience and enhances, the functionality of a operating system. Okay. Then we have an app execution. So app execution is what, when you open an app, it runs its own separate processes, ensuring that one app does not misbehaves other applications. Okay, because obviously you have multiple apps. Suppose I'm working on, you know using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is letting its own, some background processes keep running. Then now I switch to Instagram, but WhatsApp is still there on the background. But this Android app execution function in Android makes sure that all the background processes that is going on WhatsApp, it does not, changes the application processes that is going about Instagram. So that is what in basic app execution means. Okay. Then there is a Android runtime, okay, or it's also called as ART, okay, which converts app code into machine code for optimized and efficient execution. Okay, so you can make sure that ART, it basically does what, it converts the app code into the machine code. Okay, so it converts it to machine code, or you can say machine accessible code. This is what basics about how exactly Android works. Okay. Now, the main question, like how to become an Android developer and what are its advantages. So, to become an Android developer, you need to have some solid knowledge. Okay. So, there is one thing called solid foundation. So, to become an Android developer, you need to have, basic knowledge regarding some of the languages like Java. Okay, Java is one of the main. Then you have KOTLIN. You have to have some, very good hand on this. You have to be good in this particular languages to become a Android developer. Okay. Now, Java and Kotlin, these both languages are the primary languages that are used for Android development. Okay. Then there is a thing called learning resources. So the internet is a brimming, and it's filled with online courses, tutorials, books that can guide you through the Android development journey, and you can take advantages of these resources to become a perfect Android developer. Okay. Then, yeah, obviously, if you want to become an Android developer, you definitely need to practice and create your own apps. Right? If you need to practice, you should be having some of the basic knowledge, and you whatever you're learning, you have to be keep on implementing it so that you can get a better outcome of it. Okay. So theory is basically very important, but and hands-on experience is very crucial, and it also lets you create your own small apps and apply what you have learned to get a feel of the development process. Okay. Then obviously, if you are working in Android industry, you need to be having a community engagement. So engaging with Android developer community is invaluable. Okay. So online forums, blogs, and all social media platforms provides opportunities to learn from other, ask questions, and even showcase your talent. Suppose you have created a new application, so you can showcase that on LinkedIn, or you can post that somewhere else on Instagram, GitHub, and all these places, where you can tell people that yeah, you know the certain skill and you know how you can learn it. Okay, and yeah, by social media, I'll provide you my links. So if you have any sort of doubts and queries, you can contact me over there. Okay, so it's Muksuksena@2409. That is my Instagram, and yeah, same goes for my GitHub as well. So this is what Android developer being like this. Now, what are the benefits? Like, obviously, if you are thinking to become an Android developer, you obviously need to know what will be the advantages, like why you exactly want to learn or why you should learn Android development. Okay. Now, Android development over here has one of the main thing, that is expansive reach. Now, there are millions of Android users in worldwide, okay, which lets you create your own reach, and you get your hands-on experience with vast audience. Like suppose I create a new application today. Like suppose I create an app called Instagram. It already exists, but suppose I created an Instagram. It has some better features, better functionalities than the current Instagram. So obviously users will start to change and I can get my audience from all around the world. And who knows, maybe tomorrow or day after that, I can, surpass the original Instagram and I can get, a better audience in with me. So that is an expansive reach which you can get being an Android developer. Now, you can get a chance to unleash your creativity. If you have the skills, if you have the knowledge, you can test out your own, unimaginable things. Like suppose I want to create that if I swipe up in my application, I should open certain features. I should launch certain emojis, certain animation. All these things can be possible if you have the creativity. So yeah, this is an advantage that if you are an Android developer, you can create your own creativity and you can, create your own design. Then lucrative opportunities. Now, what exactly is the demand of Android developer is constantly high. Obviously, until and unless people stop using Android, the demand will be high and it's quite likely to be, not happening real soon. So you have a lot of opportunities if you are an Android developer. You have numerous job opportunities and you even have competitive salaries. Companies are ready to pay you lakhs and crores of salary if you have a good experience and you have a good enhanced skills. Okay. Then you have continuous learning. Now, this is certainly, I'll say, an advantage and also a disadvantage if you are a developer because as technology surpasses, every day new technology comes, new features, functionalities are coming. So you always have to be updated. You always have to keep learning, keep exploring, and even trying your own luck. You can even change. You have to study each and every day so that you can beat up the competition. So that is a thing that you have to be keep on learning continuously if you need to understand or if you really need to be the best Android developer. Okay, so this is how we can become an Android developer. Okay, and then let's talk about the amazing Android facts. What are the Android facts and what you should be knowing? So there is one thing that is called statistical dominance. So Android has current market dominance with over 3 billion, okay, 3 billion people currently using Android phones like Samsung, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, whatever. Apart from Apple and Linux, there is only one operating system that is Android. Okay, so this is the statistical dominance. This is an amazing fact because over more than half of the population still uses Android phones. Okay, then talking about the hidden Easter eggs. So whenever a new Android version is launched, there is a hidden Easter egg in the app. Suppose like if you goes on a certain settings or if you found out certain options, you can get this Easter egg, you will get this prize or something like that. So Google always keeps on providing the Easter egg over there, okay, which is very fun if you are working with Android. Like suppose if you are testing a new Android functions, you can get a chance to get a secret egg in the settings option where you have certain developer settings and all these things. Okay, so what exactly is the Google's sweet tooth? As I just said, that since the first launch, Google was having this sweet tooth because they named all the version names after a sweet treats. Okay, like from cupcake to donut and pie and beyond, all these things. So this was the Google's sweet tooth that we were talking about. Okay, now here comes one of the most important topic, that is IDE. So if you are going to start off with your Android journey, you should be knowing what exactly is an IDE, how exactly IDE works, or what is Android Studio. Okay, so IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so I can write it like integrated development environment. Okay, so integrated development environment. So this is what an IDE stands for, integrated development environment. So it is basically a software application that provides us the tools, features, and workspace to streamline software development. Like obviously, if you are working with some course or if you are creating your own application, you cannot just say, yeah, I need an app. It has certain buttons, it has certain features. You have to physically type it out. And as you know that a computer understands only binary numbers like 0 and 1. So it's practically impossible for us to keep on typing 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, like that. So there is a thing called IDE. Okay. So it is basically a software that gives us the tools, features, and even a workspace where we can type on the code, a certain code in an English, like computer language, which we call Java, KOTLIN, and then this is gets converted into the binary code which computer can understand, and then you get your own output. Okay. Then talking about components, what are the components? So IDE basically includes certain things like code editors. Obviously, if you wanna learn Android development, you need to write code. So there is a component in an IDE called a code editor. Okay. Then you have debug tools. Okay. So yeah, obviously, if you are becoming an Android developer, you should be knowing what is debugging, how we use this debugging tools, and all these things. Then we have the compiler. So this compiler basically compiles the code that you write into machine accessible code. And there are certain features like coding and testing and all these things. Like if obviously if you are coding, you will be testing out your code, and you will be checking out the code, what happens, what is this, how it works, how is that, and all these things. So that is what an IDE is. Okay. So it basically integrated development environment, a development environment which is used by many people to write the code which runs on Android. Okay. Then what is Android Studio? So Android Studio is the ultimate IDE for Android development. Okay. Like if you want to learn Android development, you should be familiar with Android Studio because that's the only basic thing that you use. Before we used to work on Java, we were having GRE or Java environment, but now everybody uses this part. Everybody uses Android Studio. It is basically a dedicated IDE which is tailored, specifically designed to do Android development. Okay. Now, what are some of the important things about Android development? Like, let's call a purpose build. So, purpose build. What is a purpose build? So Android Studio is a purpose built for crafting Android applications, okay, making it development very easy and efficient. So purpose built means it is purposefully built for Android, okay, Android. It is purposefully built for Android. So that is purpose built. Then it has certain features over there. So what are the features? Which is like it includes a powerful code editor. It even has, visual layer editor. It has a debugging tools, and even it has an emulator so that you can test your own apps. Okay. So emulator basically is a mobile that you can be physically seen inside of an application or inside your laptop. I'll be showing you what exactly is an, virtual device, which you can call it as emulator. Then you have a function called integration. So integrations. So integration says Android Studio seamlessly integrates with the Android SDK and provides access to libraries, APIs, and tools. Okay. So obviously, if you want to learn an Android development, you should be having an Android smartphone. But what happens? You cannot always carrying on, a smartphone within your pocket to access or to develop programs. So Android Studio gives us an emulator, which is a virtual mobile, which is present in your own laptop, and it even has some of the features that is called Android SDK, that is Software Development Kit, which basically provides us access to all the libraries, APIs, and tools, which is very important when you are working with Android development. Okay. Then what are the thing is we should be knowing what is Android development, right? So for the purpose of downloading, let me head on to the browser and let's download Android development. Okay, so Android development, so Android Studio download for Windows. Okay, so this is Android Studio download for Windows. It's a developer android.com website where you can, see the development. As you can see over here, it's the website, and it clearly shows Android Studio get official integrated development environment for Android app development. Okay. And here is the download link. Like as soon as you will click on download, it will ask you for certain terms and conditions. And as you click on it, you will be getting your Android Studio downloaded. Okay. You can see that it is of 1 GB and it's going to take some time for you, Android. Currently, I have already installed it, so I won't be installing it. In the next part of the video, we will be setting out the Android Studio itself. But for now, I'll be showing you what exactly is Android Studio, how it looks like, and what you can do to, see. So yeah, you can see over here that this is an Android Studio. Okay, you can see how it looks like. This is like a typical VS Code kind of a thing, but it is actually different. So yeah, you can see that this is a main file, main activity.java file, and this is the main activity.xml file. Like you can see what are the things present over here, right? So you have a button. Okay. So if I really want to create any button, I can see a button over here. You can even add on some changes and like that. So this is a basic design, and you can even see the code and as well as the design over there. Okay. Then talking about the device manager, you can see we have, I was talking about the emulator, right? So this is the emulator, which is right there. Like if I will run this emulator, you can see that it is launching an emulator over here. Okay. Yeah. So this is a basic emulator which has been launched. And yeah, you can see that now I have a own smartphone in the computer and I don't have to, keep on handing my phone every single time. And I have to, access the device every single time. I can just keep on handling, keep the phone somewhere away, and I can, keep on working with my laptop itself. So this is what an Android Studio looks like. So there are certain things which you can do when you install an Android Studio. Like if you really want that it should look cool and interesting, you can go head on to the general and you can click on this particular setting, that is change font size with control mouse wheel in. Okay. So this should be checked in for all editors. It really helps you out when you are, trying to zoom in. Like I can zoom in and zoom out just by pressing control and the scroll in my mouse. Okay. And you even need to go for settings again, and then you have over here you have, where is the plugin option? So we have, yeah, this is the plugin option. So you can even add atom material icons, or you can have even add material theme UI. So this allows us to, access a lot of UIs. Like currently you can see that in this laptop I'm using GitHub Dark UI. Okay. But if I really want, I have this whole set of different UIs which was possible just because of this material set UI. So you can even add this to get this, cool and amazing look. Now, and you can even see the icons are also changed just because of that. Okay. So this is just a basic introduction regarding what is, how exactly Android Studio looks like, how you can, check out the Android. Yeah. So I have closed the emulator now, and you can see we are back to the basic code. So this code is written in Java over here, where you can see we have import Android X dot app compact dot app compact activity. This what exactly basically means is, suppose I have to work with a new application over here. Okay, so I'll click on new over here and new project. As soon as I click over here, you will be seeing that there are different, visuals. So this is a basic activity, phone or tablet. You can even create for Wear OS like watch, right? Samsung watch. Then you have Android TV, then automatic, and this can be used for, cars and media services. Now, talking currently, we are just going to be focusing on mobile and tablet. So inside mobile and tablet, you can see that we have basic functionalities like basic activity, then we have material. Okay, so this has a basic buttons settings. Then we have bottom navigation activity like this will be exactly like you see, Instagram has bottom navigation where you have reels button, home button, and profile account. This is bottom activity. Then you have empty compose activity. Then you have empty activity, full screen activity. Then there is a map activity, Google Pay activity, login activity. So like that, there are multiple screens which you can be using, which you can use to create your own account app. Now we will be using empty activity, and I'll be keeping my name as intro. Okay, so intro app. So intro app is my name. So now you can see it says com.example.intro app. Okay. So now what exactly is the minimum SDK version, minimum Android version which is required? So the more less version which you will choose, the more people can access it. Like if I select that I'll use Android 13, only 15% of the world's Android device can support my application. But if I use like suppose Android KitKat 4.4, you can see that almost every person in the world which has Android can access or can use my device. Okay. Then talking about languages, we have two languages, Java and Kotlin. So currently we will be choosing Java. We will be working in Java, and then I'll click on okay, use legacy Android support library, and I like that, and then I'll click finish. Okay. So as soon as I'll click finish, you can see this is the intro app which we have over here, and you can see right here. So it's going to take a lot of time because Android Studio is a very heavy software. You should be having at least 16 gigs of RAM, or some good amount of processor and storage so that you can access or you can let this run efficiently, because it's very important. As you can see down there, it's taking a lot of processes, and it obviously takes a lot of time. I still have a good laptop, but you can see still it's going to take a lot of time. So it all depends on your machine. If you have a slow processor or RAM, doesn't matter. It will take a comparatively long time, but it will run. Okay. So just be patient and wait till it generates all the Gradle build models and all these files. You can see the file is getting created over here, which you can see it says loading over there. Now, as you can see, this is the file that we were talking about. Okay, so this is package com.example.intro app. It is exactly the name which we created. Okay, now you can see that it has successfully created my app. So this is the main activity. This will be the com.example.intro app. It has this main file. Then similarly, we have this folder, then Java folder, then manifest.folder. It has Android manifest.xml, which has basic, things which is necessary. Like suppose if you want your app should be having internet connectivity, you can add it here. If you want your app should have certain features like, location access, storage access, camera access, you should specify it so that when the app gets run, it should be having a knowledge that what all files it should run, or what all things it should ask with the user so that it should run properly. So this is Android manifest.xml file as well, and you have main activity.java and Android main. So this is the design which is basically shown in the front part of the video. Okay. Now you can even add on a different set of buttons as well, and image view and all these things. Like there are certain features which will be coming back into the later part of the video. Okay. So I hope you have understood what is an Android, how exactly Android works, what is an Android Studio, what are the basic things which you should be knowing regarding Android Studio and all these things. If you really want to run your app, you have to click over here, like run app, then Google Pixel you have, it's the camera which I'm using. Then you have the available devices, all these are emulators which you can run from your own. Like just now I showed you, right? This was the emulator which we have. So these are the devices. Then physically we have Pixel. So all these devices will be available. Like you have to turn on USB debugging, which will be available in your developer options. So you can connect your mobile and directly you can edit your applications in your mobile. Okay. So these are the basic things regarding Android Studio, which you should be knowing before starting the complete sessions. In the next part, when you will be working on with more difficult parts, difficult concepts, then we will be, understanding more things as well. So yeah, you can even see we have switch possible like switch, which can be turned on and off like that. So this was a basic introduction regarding Android Studio. You guys can download it from here. And don't worry, I'll be showing you how to download in the next video. This was an introductory part where I was focusing on telling you what exactly is Android, how it works, okay? What is the perks, benefits, what is an IDE, and how we can become an Android developer. Okay. So I hope you have understood each and everything. If you have any sort of doubts and queries, then do comment out, like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss an upcoming video. And I'll be seeing that whether anybody has any sort of doubts. So we will be answering that right here. Okay, so yeah. So this was pretty much it for this video. If you have any doubts, then comment out. I'll be replying the doubts. And from the next part of the video, we will be starting out the Android journey, in which we will be completely clearing out and doing, cool and amazing uh, things. We will be creating our own first Android application using Android Studio and Java. Okay. So this was pretty much it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Till then, see you. Have a great day and bye bye. Yes, Sahil, this is a project based course. In this course, we will be creating a project as well, which will be very helpful for you guys to understand as well. Okay. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.